Welcome everyone to another broadcast of Southern Virginia Athletics. Tonight, the Southern Virginia men's basketball team host the captains of Christopher Newport. A very tough matchup in here tonight, Mike. The captains coming in ranked in Division III.
Yes, and 15-1 overall, 9-0 in the Capital Athletic Conference. They are a very fundamental and sound team. The Knights are going to have to do some extraordinary things tonight to pull out the win, but they're capable of doing it.
Well, a tall task last year when Christopher Newport came to this building as well. Lots of folks would say the Knights were overlooked a little bit on the schedule of the captains, and the Knights show just how dangerous that can be, sending the captains back with a loss.
Yeah, again, if the Knights can play their game, and we've seen them start out in great fashion, build a big lead. Unfortunately, last time, lose it a little bit and have to pull it out in the last few seconds. But if they can build that lead and maintain the lead, they can kind of make the captains start to doubt themselves. And if you get into that psyche of a team, then you can pull off the upset.
Well, and lest we forget also, they did throw a big lead, but it just made it easier for Kevin Walker to get Player of the Week recognition by hitting that dagger, that three-pointer to round out that one. Starting lineups coming in now. Christopher Newport's already been read off. Number 3, Marcus Carter. Number 3, Kevin Rajimble. Number 11, Rayshard Brown. Number 12, Brendan Burrows. And number 35, Hunter Wetherill. Mike, who do you got for the Knights?
For the Knights, it'll be number 4, Nate Adamson. Number 10, Anders Jacobson. Number 11, David Beatty. Number 30, Kevin Walker. And number 45, Justin Langford. Their usual starting lineup.
Well, we'll have to see how things get started here. The Knights have had two very different teams this season, the kind that starts out strong and the kind that starts out struggling. They will need a solid start tonight to compete against this tough Christopher Newport captain's team.
You know, and it wouldn't be that much of an upset for the Knights to win. They were very tough here at home. They're tied for 3rd in the Capital Athletic Conference. Stranger things have happened. I wouldn't put it past the Knights to go ahead and win this game, and I don't think it would be that big of a deal in the Capital Conference seeing the Knights beat the captains.
And as you mentioned, tied for 3rd, also just one game back from 2nd. And then just one well out in front, Christopher Newport. You'd love to strike some fear in the hearts of your opponents looking at the rest of the season, seeing that you came in and knocked off the number 1 team in the Capital Athletic Conference, previously undefeated. We'll see how the Knights are able to do that tonight as David Beatty steps to the line for tip-off against Marcus Carter of Christopher Newport. And that Cheshire grin on his face, as at all times. And the Knights will control tip-off. Anders Jacobson to bring it up.
Yeah, both teams were in a defensive tip-off stance there.
Beatty to Walker. Walker drives, stops, pops, got it. First points to the night, and Kevin Walker.
And it was nice seeing Kevin being able to refuse the screen, not go all the way to the baseline, bring it back to the middle, and pull up for that little jump shot.
Difficult to do, but rewarded with a pretty good shot if he can pull it off. Christopher Newport now on the offensive. Already halfway through the shot clock because the Knights pressure, which they start way in the backcourt. Now under 10 to shoot. Captains there now look inside. And able to body up Hunter Wetherill.
And the captains were able to find a little soft spot in that zone. Usually when people catch the ball in the middle of the lane, they don't really look at the basket. That time the captains were able to do that.
And a block call that time. Good news, Justin Langford. Every once in a while known to get into some foul trouble early, but that time it will go against Hunter Wetherill and looked like a good call to me.
Well, and one of the things we're going to look for tonight is when Cale Thornton does come in, is he the foul magnet that he has been earlier on? Do the referees have an eye out for him?
It's been known to happen. Beatty catching the inbound there, and the Knights will set up the offense, which starts with Adamson up top. Working through Jacobson. Langford, that one thrown away. Walker able to step through to it. Back to Beatty. Adamson. Knights a little disheveled, keeping it together. Langford pulls up. No good.
And that was a nice shot. We've seen Justin make that shot more times than not.
Yeah, he's got the range, even for a big man.
And then he was just at a step outside the elbow area. That's where you want your centers to really be active.
Three-pointer off the mark. Langford comes down with it.
And great job of keeping his balance there. He got a little bump on the way down, was able to keep his balance and not walk with the ball.
Walker, good no look back inside. Adamson reverses and just a little too strong.
And this is something we've seen in the last couple games that the Knights have really started to use to their advantage, is this little zone.
Brendan Burrows with the quick basket inside. All the damage being done to the Knights in the paint so far. Knights now setting up. The set play coming in. Good look for Jacobson. Creates contact, finishes through it.
And that's the Jacobson that we've come to know and love. He's been missing in action a little bit lately. Just not having the big games. It's been very quietly contributing to the success of the Knights.
Yeah, contributing in a lot of ways that you don't show up in the stat sheet, but you'd like to see both, of course. And the reverse off the glass that time by Brendan Burrows again. He's got a quick 4. Knights move the ball up, and Adamson again at the point. Good look through to Beatty, but intercepted by Burrows, and he's going to carry. Good defensive effort, but that's negated by the quick turnover.
And with David going toward the basket, you might not want to give him that bounce pass. Lay the ball up toward the corner of the rim. Let him go up and get it, especially on a switch.
He can certainly do that. 4-6 now, the Knights trailing. Looking to tie or take the lead. Adamson gets the screen from Beatty, kicks out to Langford. Back to Beatty, who steps in. Just barely long. Walker able to deflect it. That'll slow down the offensive by the captains, give the Knights time to set up their defense.
And then this zone that the Knights are playing is a little 3-2. The soft spot's right in the middle of the lane, about 2 steps up from the restricted arc that's out there. If they can defend that well, they'll have a great chance of pulling off the win here tonight.
Knights have really shown several defenses throughout the year now, as you mentioned, in that zone. Oh, whoa! Dragged the foot pretty substantially on that. Oh,
wow! And I think the
big drag on that one.
I think the referee got caught watching the ball and not watching the player.
Yeah, that one. Whew. And then to compound it with the foul by Beatty. That's frustrating. Rayshard Brown to the line for Christopher Newport.
That wasn't a little drag. That was
no.
Pack my bags and walk to Kansas City drag.
As Dick Vitale would say, if I could see it with one eye, I could see it with 2.
Well, if we want to try to be fair, we are a little bit further distance away, so we get to see the more panoramic view.
That's true. That's fair.
That might be the last time we're fair tonight.
Yeah. Tim Daly on the court for the first time for the captains. Second free throw by Brown on its way. And 0 for 2. Beatty able to come away with it. And Adamson to reset for the Knights. A lot of high screens from Beatty so far. Really working through that well. Jacobson pulls up, gets foul, almost makes the shot, but will go to the line anyway. This may become a story as well. Jacobson, a very, very strong free throw shooter historically, but has struggled recently. He tends to go as he starts. So would love to see him start strong and connect early, as he does there. And that's going to bring a couple substitutions in for Christopher Newport. Marcus Carter back in the lineup, along with Justin Hampton and Kevin Rajimbo.
And right now with that high pick and roll with David, he's always rolling to the basket. That's just setting up a time that they can run a pick and pop, have him step out to the three-point line when the Knights need it.
And there's Anders Jacobson.
And that's a great start, 2 for 2.
Yes, it is. And a definitive 2. It wasn't a bounce, roll around, get a lucky friendly rim. Those were very, very well made with good form. Knights really slowing down that offense, but able to delay and find the basket. That time, Hampton, his first basket of the game.
And we were kind of screened out, but some of the displeasure, there was a potential walk there on that one.
I heard people saying walk. Oh!
Oh, and someone ran through a screen there.
And that one, that's going to go against Kevin Rajimble, his first. Body's hitting the deck on that one.
Yeah, that's a brave person to stand there and let someone just run full blast through.
It is. It is. Baseline. Beatty just couldn't quite finish. Christopher Newport down low again. Now kicking out. Jacobson looking to stop it. Back to the outside. Less than 10 to shoot. And the three-pointer is good by Kevin Rajimble. Commits the foul on one end, comes back and hits the three on the other.
And last year in this gym, Rajimble went off for several.
Oh! Walker. Defender falls down, but a little too excited perhaps. The pass to Langford. And that one well off. And that foul going to go against Tim Daly. Very physical play. But very, very admirable. The referee's really keeping a handle on this. You like to see that that curtailed early.
And the captains are tallying up some very early fouls.
They are. 4 in the first 5.5 minutes. Only 1 apiece around 4 different players, though.
Yeah, but if the Knights can keep attacking, gets them to the 1-and-1 very early, and then you can really start to make a living.
If they can hit their free throws, something Knights have done well at times and not at others. Have the ability, but not the consistency. The leaner, Walker, and he's got 4.
And I don't know if I'd leave Kevin Walker, the 2-time player of the week from the Capital Conference, wide open like that.
No, not so much. It's easy to get lost in the switchies as well, though. But certainly not if you have an alternative. Coming back the other way. Adamson drives 1-on-3. Tipped up and in. David Beatty trails the play and gets his first basket. The Knights are within 1. This is that strong start that we wanted to see from the Knights. They've been able to do it. Withstood a bit of a run, but kept it close. The Knights committing the foul on that one. That's going to be Langford, his first. That will send Daly to the line, and that'll bring us to our first media timeout. Not something that we're accustomed to here in the barn, but as we welcome our friends from Christopher Newport, something that they bring along with them, the media timeout. Anything you'd like to say to the media?
Well,
I guess kind of we are the media? I don't know.
I don't know if I want to say anything to them, but, you know, we've seen the Knights build on these type of starts. If they can keep it to within a few points either down or starting to extend the lead up, I don't think they'll let up in the second half as we've seen earlier. They're really prepared for this game. You can tell that they're into the game, not committing a lot of fouls. I mean, we're with 6.5 minutes into the game, only 2 fouls. We usually see at least one person with 2 or 3 fouls by now.
Absolutely.
So the Knights are doing a great job.
His name is either Thornton or Langford.
Well, and Kale's just beginning to come in the game, so.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We may see that soon. Hopefully not. But I think you're right. They've hung so far, and if you think about it, all of the pressure has got to be on Christopher Newport. They're the ranked team. Yeah. They're the #1 team in the conference. They lost here last year. No one's expecting the Knights to come away with this victory. So I think the longer that they can stay tight, the longer they keep it close, the more confidence they can build, the more pressure builds up on Christopher Newport.
Well, and Christopher Newport has to understand that since they are the ranked team, they are the #1 team in the Capital Athletic Conference, they're always playing with the bulls on their back, so they're going to get the best game from everybody. And we've seen teams come into this barn with really good credentials and crumble underneath the pressure, not only of the Knights, but the Knights fans.
Yeah, definitely a claustrophobic arena if you've been out here. It's small, the fans are close to you, and they like to remind you of that at every opportunity. Tim Daly now at the free throw line for Christopher Newport. Speaking of the Knights faithful, having a bit of a conversation, or trying to, rather one-sided, I would say.
One-sided.
With Daly, who gets a couple of bounces and then the shot to drop.
And the Knights fans strategically placed for the second half.
They are indeed. Second one off the mark, but the rebound comes down to Hampton.
And that's just lack of attention to detail. They're giving up the rebound on the free throw.
Walker and Thornton combining for the rebound there. Cale Thornton is in the lineup, came through during that timeout for Langford. Jacobson fights over. 10 seconds. Able to dump it off to Beatty. 5 seconds to shoot. Thornton sets a screen. Pulls up. And it is off. Captains look to run, but the Knights gather. Walker steps in, just about intercepts that one, able to get a piece of it. Yeah, Knights really fighting defensively. Basket good that time for Daly. But Thornton able to play defense down low. No foul call. That may be a first for his the first time he comes into a game. He's normally picks one up immediately. Thornton to Walker. Walker drives, kicks out. 10 to shoot. Jacobson. Lot of contact. And nothing. Coming back the other way. Shot is up. Three-pointer is good. That one, Aaron McFarland.
And that's Christopher Newport's game. They want to counterattack, to get in transition, find the threes.
Certainly effective on that possession. Adamson fighting through some contact, but the foul will be called. And the referee having a little bit of a conversation there. Looks like things maybe have gotten a little conversational. Adamson will go to the bench. That will bring in Jace Edmonds.
Well, if the Knights are going to take advantage of them getting closer to the 1-and-1, the guards are really going to have to attack off those screens.
Edmonds drives, dumps down low, and finds Cale Thornton available for the shot. Happy to put it in. And the captain's flirting with that timeline. Get it across. Beatty, good defense. And jump ball.
Oh, one referee was going to call a jump ball. The other one comes in from the backside.
Oh, that's going to be 2 fouls on David Beatty. What a turn of events. So Beatty now has 2 fouls. One of them that came after a pretty clear travel, and one of them on a questionable jump ball. Tough pill to swallow on what could have been a very different situation.
Now David's going to have to come out and sit for a while. You can't afford to getting that 3rd foul this early in the first half.
You really can't. He's not happy about it. Langford will come in for him. Definitely a playmaker for the Knights when he's on the court. 0 for 2. And Thornton able to come away with it.
Well,
a lot of contact.
You and I talked about this earlier about how the Knights are going to play through some of the pressures that happen in the game.
Oh! Cale Thornton able to convert the basket, but is not going to count. That'll be an offensive foul.
And now's the time that we want to see where the Knights' mental toughness really is.
Yeah, you've had some calls not go your way. You've had a bit of a run. You're now down 5.
Well, and you know that David's not going to be coming back in anytime soon. It'll be the second half before we see him. So how the Knights are going to respond, this is going to tell us a lot about their makeup and where they're going to be seated when we get to the Capital Conference Tournament.
Yeah, he's been able to change the attitude of the team coming off the bench when he's been in trouble before, but not able to do that for you now. Great tip by Langford. Now brought up by Jacobson. And another offensive foul. What is going on here? The Knight faithful not happy with that one, and a timeout taken by Southern Virginia.
And it looked like that Jacobson may have been pushed into that charge.
Sure.
As he was going down the lane, it looked like he got bumped a couple times going into the lane, which caused his momentum to go forward even more.
Bring him into somebody. Well, so Jacobson now with 1, Beatty with 2. A lot of fouls that could have very easily been other things, we'll just say. And that resulting in a 5-point deficit now, 12-17. Now with Beatty not on the floor, now with the referees not calling it your way, how do you as a team come together, Mike?
Well, now you understand what the referees are going to call and what they're not going to call. We're not going to see a lot of walk calls tonight. Looks like the pet calls are going to be the charges, so now the Knights need to step in and take a few, and that could swing the momentum back toward them. But the Knights don't need to try to do anything outstanding or extraordinary. They just need to play the game that they've been practicing.
And now the foul at the other end on the drive. That's going to be on Jace Edmonds. And some extracurricular on the end of that. That's going to be the foul on Jace Edmonds, and that's it. Some, like I said, a little bit of extracurricular, but we're going with just the blocking foul on Edmonds, which will send Rajimble to the line. And he'll miss the first. Free throws have not been the friend of Christopher Newport.
Not been kind at all for Christopher Newport, which is really keeping the Knights in this game so far.
Karma?
Could be.
What about karma?
Yeah.
Karma's a thing, right?
You know, again, we've always said the ball never lies. So.
Yep. Does make the second. Rajimble's unofficial 4th point of the game. Jacobson brings it up court for the Knights. Looking for an opening. Edmonds this time to Thornton. 10 to shoot. Oh, an offensive foul called on Anders Jacobson for getting run down. What is going on? What? Adamson comes in the game now on another thrown away possession where the Knights don't even get a shot because of an offensive foul. 3 offensive fouls now in this first half.
And on that one, Anders wasn't even looking to set a screen. He was just trying to cut through.
Right.
The freedom of movement should have been allowing him to have that space.
Wow. So hard to establish some momentum. The Knights trying to do that now to Walker for 3. No good.
Oh, I thought the ball was going to come over here. We're going to be able to maybe put some mojo on it.
I was hoping.
You were just hoping that the ball would come over here so the referee would have to come over here.
Have a little chit chat. I was nice. I actually saw the referees before the game and said, hey, you're going to be live streaming on YouTube, so no mistakes today. And they kind of laughed. I think I know why they were laughing now. And it wasn't the reason I thought they were. 8-point deficit now. 9 minutes remaining in the first half.
And again, the Knights are very fortunate to only be down by 8 because of the missed free throws by the captains.
You're right. It could be worse for sure. 5 to shoot. And right in time, the three-pointer, Rashard Brown, his first points of the game. And the lead is 11. The Knights now inbounding. Trying to find something. Going to Edmonds. Thornton at the top. Walker drives. And that's going to be Rajimble's foul, his second. Aaron McFarland will come in the game for Rajimble. It has been a long time since the Knights have scored a basket, Mike. And not only do the points matter, but that and a 5-second call. It's been a while since the Knights have gotten a shot.
It has, and because Coach Caputo doesn't want to get any further behind, bringing David Beatty back in.
Beatty will come in despite 2 fouls. Joe Holland in the lineup as well.
And we saw Joe come in the last game and give him a great spark off the bench, shooting some threes.
Carter brings the ball up for the captains. Back on the attack. Taking all kinds of time. Under 10. Now looking inside. Beatty, good defense. Adamson comes down with it. Beatty now looking to run. Kicks. Holland, Beatty. Good look inside. Oh, tipped out from behind, and the foul will be called. Thornton is going to go to the line. Wetherill called for the foul, his second for the captains, and that will send him to the bench. Justin Hampton will enter for him.
Well, this is where the Knights can make up some of this ground that they've lost, is at the free throw line.
Ben Watkins making his first appearance for Christopher Newport. Walker was over talking with Coach Caputo. Looked like Coach was getting ready to send in Anders Jacobson with 2 fouls, and Walker says, no, I've got this. Lead me in, Coach. Thornton, front end of the 1-and-1.
Well, and I think the big selling point was, I have no fouls.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and he's been quite a playmaker as well. Perhaps wants to try to inject some of that ability. Again,
it was not a selfish thing that he was trying to make sure that Anders doesn't pick up that third foul too.
Yeah.
I mean,
so Walker, Jacobson, and an uncommon Thornton now tied as the leading scorers for the Knights at 4 apiece. Beatty with 2. At the other end, Burrows and Rajimble with 4 apiece. Really working the ball around. And that one relatively untested.
Yeah, a little backdoor cut from the weak side, and no one was there.
Good look inside to Holland, who just lost the handle on it. And it's going the other way, and now Jacobson will come in for Walker. Knights setting up the pressure. It's been able to slow the captains down, but not force turnovers, which you would hope to be able to do. Very close to a 10-second call on that. Ten seconds to shoot already. Captain's still just working the perimeter. They've been able to do that and then go inside late in the shot clock. They do again. 1 second, and just as the clock runs out, able to get a shot, but Beatty corrals the rebound.
And that's one thing you have to admire about the captains. They do not get in a rush.
Adamson loses the handle. Coming the other way, Beatty Gets out in front, but not able to stop the basket. Smart play, not fouling, though. That would have been his third. Hampton scores, and the lead back to 13. Adamson again. The Knights have just stopped scoring. They've held well defensively, but they've got to put some points on the board. Jacobson, and it's going the other way.
And you have a lot of just not a very well taken shots. Some shots taken, but nothing within the flow of the offense. It seems like the offense has kind of just become a little herky-jerky, and some players are trying to do a little bit more than they want or should, and not let the offense work.
Well, and difficult to get in the flow of an offense the way it's been broken up. And we have another break now, another media timeout to slow things down a little bit again. So turnovers, offensive fouls, bad shots. Just offensively, there just hasn't been a flow for the Knights in the last 10 minutes.
Well, and you can attribute that to the 3 offensive fouls that have been called early on. The Knights really don't know what they can do on offense, and if they make a hard cut, is someone going to step in and try to draw another offensive foul, which is causing a lot of havoc in the minds of the Knights, just not being able to be sure of what do I need to do.
Yeah, very, very difficult to know. To feel out the game. Obviously there's the rules, and then there's the interpretation of the rules, which is going to be different with any set of referees in any environment. So very difficult to know exactly what they're looking for in this situation. So 14-27, down 13. The Knights would love to close that gap. Certainly I would hope to single digits going into the locker room. Can take some confidence out of that.
You know, and for the Knights at this time, being down by 13, those media timeouts are really helping them by Coach Caputo not having to call a timeout and being able to bring his team over and say, okay, guys, this next 5 minutes, we need to do X, Y, and Z. And hopefully the Knights can go out there and execute.
Yeah, have a chance to talk it over. Christopher Newport hoping to extend that 13-point lead. The Knights looking to cut into it, which would require a stop here. Good back cut, good good block by Thornton.
Well,
is what I was started to say, but now Cale Thornton picks up the second quick one.
I think Cale did get him. The problem is the referee waiting to see is the shot going to go in or not before you make the call.
So long.
I mean, the onus is on the referees to make the call when they see it, not let's see how the play is going to develop.
Not based on the outcome. This isn't soccer where they have the
there's no advantage or disadvantage. It's you see the foul, make the call, and that's what's very frustrating to a lot of players is once the play is gone on, you think you've done something great and gained possession, and then all of a sudden, by the way, here's the foul.
Yeah, reaction, the issue. David Beatty to inbound. Both free throws good. Jacobson to take it in against pressure now by Christopher Newport. He's able to dribble through 4 men and getting just hounded the whole way. And now the foul call, Marcus Carter. This will send Jacobson to the line in the 1-and-1. And this will be a good test for him to see whether or not he is, as he appears to be, shooting better free throws as he was earlier. Also, we should mention Jordan McGuigan on the court for the Knights. Got it. Jacobson now leading the way for the Knights with 5.
Well, and Anders knows now the team needs him to step up and be much more of a playmaker, scorer, and leader than at some points in different games where he could just kind of blend in.
Yeah, be what he can be. 6 now for Jacobson. The lead back to 13. The inbounds is good and looking to push the captain's drive. Carter back out and then drive again. Too strong. And it's going the other way. The Knights come away with it. Very quick move to the basket that time. Rayshard Brown, and elevating a lot on it as well. Jacobson again. Inbounds this time, just a little token pressure to slow things down a bit.
And with the Knights not being able to score at a very good clip, it's kind of put the fans into a lackadaisical state also, and that's what really gets our team going, is when the fans get a little rowdy.
Yeah, they can feed off of each other, but right now, neither one particularly eating well. There's the lob. It does get up court. Langford able to defend it well. The second attempt, no good. Rebound again. Justin Langford called for that foul, his second. And that's going to be Tim Daly with the basket and the potential and one. No good, and Beatty comes up with the rebound for the Knights.
And right now, just the hustle plays are starting to go the way of the captains, and that's what the Knights need to really kind of even out the way that the score is going, but also even out the athletic ability.
McGuigan getting pushed around out there. Beatty finds Langford, who's blocked. 6 seconds to shoot.
So now the Knights need to run a great baseline out of bounds play.
Justin Hampton just barely gets to the table in time. That'll send Marcus Carter to the bench. 6 seconds to shoot. Knights need something quickly. They find Jacobson up top for three. Too strong. Rebound to Beatty. Soft touch, also too strong. Christopher Newport off to the races. And having to pull out just for a moment though. Long, tipped out. Good look inside, but too hot to handle by Tubin. So Jacobson will come up with it.
Well, a good defensive tip there by the Knights also.
That shot well off the mark.
And it looks like the Knights are trying to make up this deficit by just shooting threes instead of attacking the basket.
Great hustle play by Walker. Tipping it away twice, but stepping on the sideline. And a timeout called by Coach Krikorian of Christopher Newport. 30-second timeout.
Well, this is one of the critical times for the Knights. You don't want to go into the halftime down by more than you are right now. Anything above 15 could really hamper what you can do coming into the second half. You have to start to play a game that Christopher Newport's going to dictate, a fast pace up and down, shooting a lot of threes, and that's not really what the Knights can do the best. We like to see them set their offense up, look for shooters coming off of screens around the paint. That's how they got out to a good start, is shooting inside the lane.
It absolutely is, and that's something they've really struggled at since then. I'd be interested to see the metric of points over time. They certainly started out much more. It seemed like they were at 12 points forever.
Yes.
And it's been a lot of minutes even since then, so really just 4 points, I'm guessing, in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Langford able to tip that one away. Fighting for it.
Oh, there should have been a jump ball at least.
Yeah, for some of the jump balls we've seen already. If I'm Coach Caputo, I want to see somebody going to the deck for that too, though. No bending down and reaching for it. Walker drives, gathers, converts. Boy, it wasn't pretty, but it went in.
A little bit of a broken play, but Kevin's been making the best of broken plays.
Just like we drew it up, Mike. Just like they drew it up. Captains now Tyler Famai. Oh, good lob ahead. And blocked at the rim. Justin Langford denies that basket. The Knight faithful like it. Lead down to 13. Turnaround.
That would have been a big basket for the Knights.
There would have been an eruption, but just could not get it to drop.
But that's what you want to see the Knights do. Getting the ball into the lane, whether pass or drive.
Langford again. Great defense. Look ahead. McGuigan catches in step and then loses a shoe, and a blocking foul is called.
And McGuigan gets the worst for wear there.
Tyler Famai called for the foul. It's been an interesting night already, Mike.
Oh, and they're calling a one-on-one on that?
Not in the action of shooting?
Yeah, that's
what?
Kind of strange that you call a blocking foul there and you're not in the act of shooting.
What's he gonna, is he lobbing it up off the board for the next guy? Is that the plan?
Oh, me, these referees are... Their interpretation of the rules are not what the NCAA has put out.
Jordan McGuigan, his first point of the game. We'll focus on that for the moment. Also, the lead down to 12. It's as low as it's been for a while. That's good. And make that a second.
Well, it'd be a great thing for the Knights if they can go in.
Oh, yeah.
If they can go in at halftime down by under 10.
Yeah, very true. Edmonds is going to come in for Beatty. Smart play. We're going to need him in the second half. Certainly, you don't want to risk that third foul coming up in the last 2:10, especially with the energy mounting. Oh, good look ahead that time. Numbers, though.
Oh, and we got to box out.
Yeah, good stick back that second time by Brown. Great job following the play. Lead back to 13 with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, force a tough shot and don't box out the runners coming down.
Walker calling for the screen, gets it, hits the shot and one. Oh my goodness. Carter called for it, his second, and oh my goodness.
And plays like that will put life back into the barn.
Oh, well, and from mid-court, he was calling that play. He knew exactly what he wanted and got it. Whew.
Well, we've seen the Knights make this little run that they're on by trying to attack the basket, not settling for threes.
10, the lead now. Again, the closest it's been in a very long time. The Knights looking to capitalize even further. Adamson back on the floor. Oh, dribbling off of his shoe that time is McFarland. Turnover. Walker looks through to Jacobson. Great ball movement at the moment. Edmonds. And throws it away. And tipped out. Nate Adamson reaches from behind, knocks the ball away, preventing the easy basket. And this is the energy the Knights are going to need if they're going to come back in this basketball game, and they are showing it at the moment.
It can't be in spots. This has to be the energy that they showed for the rest of the game.
And Langford reaches through to tip it out of bounds.
Again, when you're at home, you have to display that never say die attitude. It's just taking a little while for the Knights to get that back.
Well, and certainly not too late. There's a lot of time left, but you can't lose it now. Good defense. Oh, good backside pass that time. Finds an open Marcus Carter for an easy basket.
109, please, 109.
Setting the game clock at 109, making sure we've got everything as it should be there. And Edmonds to Adamson to bring it up court. The lead at 12. That time, good look inside to Langford, but quick hands by McFarland for Christopher Newport will tip it away.
Yeah, just a half a count too late to try to force that pass in there.
Yep. Look up top. Good stutter step by Adamson. And it's deflected. And that will be a foul 80 feet from the basket. And Walker will be called for it, his first.
And Nate had his head and shoulders past the primary defender once he got into the lane. Been nice to see him pull up for a little 8-foot jump shot instead of trying to attack the trees that are in there.
Yep, very true. That does set Tim Daly to the line for the captains. That one drops, despite free throw woes so far for Christopher Newport. They're starting to right the ship.
Very good.
That one's for my father.
Pun intended, right?
Yeah. That one's for my father, who I'm sure isn't watching, but boy, it's a
He'd be proud of you.
It's a fatherly sense of humor kind of joke, you know, right? There's some dads out there who get it. Very strong on that one. Edmonds fights for the rebound. Lead out to 13 in a relatively low-scoring contest. Walker just about loses it.
Almost faked his own self out.
And a block on that. Coach Krikorian not a fan of the call, but I don't think the referee's making anybody happy today. Referees typically don't make a lot of people happy. A pretty thankless job.
They're equal opportunity offenders there.
Tim Daly called for the foul, his second. Walker hits the free throw.
Well, you got to take advantage of what the referee's going to call. Kevin's finally figured it out with about a minute left to go in the half. And took advantage of it there.
Makes them both. Walker has quietly put together 11 points now. Lead back to 11, and Nate Roberts on the floor for Christopher Newport, his first appearance.
Well, let's see if the captains try to hold for the last shot here.
Oh! Big energy effort that time as it flies out of bounds off the contact from Jace Edmonds, and that deflected hard enough. It took out our scoreboards.
There you go. There you go. Edmonds tipped the ball hard enough over to blow out one of the little circuit breakers we have to protect the main circuit breaker.
Yeah, hit the little button on there. I'm guessing.
The GIF.
It's quite the impressive shot. So we're making sure we get everything straight here. 28 seconds on the clock. The referee making sure we get everything set. They're saying getting everything set accordingly.
Yeah, there was no change of position on that, so the shot clock still should be on.
They're saying 28.1 on the game clock, 26 on the shot clock.
Yes. 2-second differential was when they started.
As you said, will likely hold for the last shot. That one slips through the hands of Brown, but he's able to collect it. Knights playing tight defense. And a traveling violation at this end. That's the danger when you put in a player who has sat the entire half just for the last minute. Roberts just gets on the court. 8 seconds left. The Knights will try to get the last shot. Adamson brings it up court. 4 seconds. Dump down to Langford, who pulls it, gets it, and there's some energy going into the half. The Knights able to cut it down to under 10.
That's what you wanted to do.
That's what I asked for, and Justin Langford delivers at the last possible second. His first basket, and it's a big one, injecting some energy into the Knights fans and the Knight team as we're going into the half. Cutting the lead down to 9, and has to be starting to strike some fear into the hearts of Christopher Newport that this game is not out of reach.
Well, they're throwing their best shot at them at the Knights. The Knights are absorbing it like the heavyweight fighters, right? They've had David Beatty go out with 2. They've had Andrew Jackson go out with 2. They've had fouls called on them that they didn't agree with, yet still a deficit of under 10, the Knights are right where they want to be. Obviously, ahead would be better.
Sure,
right? But
all
right
things
where
considered.
Right where they want to be to make a great run in the second half.
Absolutely, especially the momentum shifting in their favor right there at the end. A lot of excitement there going into the locker room. So that's where we are for now. The Knights trailing 27-36 versus the captains of Christopher Newport. We're going to break away for about 10 minutes and then be back with a quick interview with one of our new vice presidents here at Southern Virginia, Charlie Bowen. Stick around for that. We'll be back here in about 10 minutes. Welcome, everyone, to the beginning of the second half of Southern Virginia men's basketball. The Knights trailing currently to the captains of Christopher Newport, 36-27. I'm here with Charlie Bowen, Vice President of Student Life. Charlie, good to have you on the broadcast today. Love to have you out here at our athletic events.
Thanks, Art. It's a pleasure to be here. Appreciate you inviting me to come spend a little bit of time with you.
Absolutely. Good. Like I say, good to have you. Good to have you in the area as well. You're relatively new to the Southern Virginia campus, at least for the sake of living here, correct?
That's correct. We moved here in July. I retired from Kennesaw State University north of Atlanta, but we've been anxious to get here. I tell you, our son went to school here a little over a decade ago. We fell in love with the place then and just been kind of chomping at the bit to make our way back here.
Well, it's a 13-year romance, I guess.
That's exactly right. And interestingly, even after our son left here, we continued to come visit for the last number of years anyway.
Wonderful. Well, good to have you here now in more of a formal capacity as well.
Thank you.
And you got some experience with the college athletics as well, do you not?
I have. I've been very fortunate to play intercollegiate athletics, to coach some at the college level, and have been involved in it. Just about every capacity I've had in higher education has had some athletic involvement.
Well, in that case, you seem particularly capable of answering this question. Your thoughts on the first half?
You know, the first half, let me just say the end, I thought went very well. We came back from a double-digit deficit for most of the half, and we had a buzzer beater. Justin Langford came through with a big shot there, and we're now in single digits. Their defense, give Christopher Newport a lot of credit. Their defense was very tenacious. I don't think our shooting was quite as accurate as we would have liked. I think probably in the 30s%, but I've seen this team really come alive in the second half a number of times, and I'm just hoping for the same in the second half tonight.
Definitely the capability of doing that, especially here at home. Their record very good here at home, especially with the night crowd really getting involved in that. Speaking of the crowd in here in this building, the women's team struggling a little bit earlier despite the crowd supporting them, really fighting through some adversity, the Southern Virginia women's team this year.
They are. I think, Coach Roberts has a vision, and she's anxious to have a high-paced, pressing defense, and I think the young women are still trying to learn that role. And tonight they were just up against a really very strong team. And, again, give credit to Christopher Newport. They have some talented young women, and it just didn't go our way tonight.
Yeah, very strong team in Christopher Newport, both on the men's and women's side on the top of the Capital Athletic Conference. No easy wins in the Capital Athletic Conference, but certainly none harder than Christopher Newport.
Right.
One other thing, I'm sure lots of folks at home are wondering about we've been in the market for a head football coach for a little while now, even in the off season. Of course, football is big business. So can you comment a little bit on that process, where we're at, and when we expect to know where we're going in that direction?
Sure, I agree. I think you're right, Art. I think a lot of people are kind of anxious and excited to hear what will be the outcome of this very thorough search. And admittedly, we had thought it might come to a conclusion a little bit sooner, but credit to our athletic director, Coach Jason Lamb. He has been very thorough. We had over 50 applicants for the position. We narrowed it down to about 8 or 10. And
you didn't make the cut. I didn't make the cut. It's a pretty tough screening process.
Yeah, Art and I were just commiserating with each other how we didn't make it very far in the search process. But hey, that just shows the wisdom of those making the decision.
Absolutely.
So anyway, we had 3 outstanding candidates on campus the last few weeks. One even weathered the snowstorm this past weekend to be here during that. And so we feel like we've got some great options. We've had a lot of research into their background experience, talked to a lot of people, and I do think we're just within a day or two of making that final decision and making that much awaited announcement of a head coach for Southern Virginia football.
Very exciting there. I just have one final question then. Did it slow the process down when the 49ers took Chip Kelly? Is there can you comment on that?
Well, as you know, Chip was right at the top of our list when we started negotiating.
Used to wearing green.
Yeah, used to wearing green. Somehow our dollars, we were close, but we just couldn't quite make that work.
I can understand that. I appreciate your effort. Thanks for being with us again. Charlie Bowen, Vice President of Student Life here at Southern Virginia. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the second half. And speaking of, we are 5 seconds away. We're going to go ahead and get started here in just a second.
Thanks, Art. You do a great job.
Captains. Excuse me, Wetherill is at the line. The lead back to 7. Walker gets ahead. Gets a screen from Langford, who gives it back to. Turnaround off the glass. Got it! Just his 3rd and 4th points after picking up that 3rd foul. A lot of confidence being shown in him to stay in the game. Whoa! Wetherill makes the basket and then greets Anders Jacobson on the way up the court. Jacobson drives, kicks. Adamson. And in that, Kevin Rajimbol's foul, his 3rd. And Aaron McFarland will come in the game for him.
And now we're seeing the frustration on the captain's face that we saw in the first half on the Knights' face with...
I knew I'd seen that somewhere before.
What are these calls and where are they coming from?
Walker to inbound, got to get it in. Deflected, but Beatty collects. Hard with the single hand. He's got 9, and the lead is back to 5. Captain's now looking to push. Langford will get called for the foul, his 4th, and the basket is good.
And that's one of those fouls that if you're going to foul somebody, don't let the ball get out of their hands.
Yeah, that was close enough that I think he was hoping to not get the call. Caleb Thornton in the game, and if you're looking to not get fouls, it's an interesting decision. But depth at big man, you can only do so much.
Well, we've seen Cale pick up the quick fouls on his first entry into the game, not the second entry into the game.
Oh, so that's the theory now.
That's the theory.
Well, here's to hoping the Knights can certainly use him if he can stay in the game. Adamson, tightly defended, gets a screen, kicks out. Jacobson out to Beatty. To Walker. Good cut. A lot of contact, no call. The captain's running it back. Good look ahead to Wetherill. And again, well after the fact. I didn't see Mike. Who is that foul on?
In my defense.
No, you're not the one who needs defense in
He turned his back and tried to run out of the way, just didn't run fast enough. He got caught between a rock and a hard spot.
How's that theory of yours doing?
My hypothesis needs some work.
Yeah, well, it's a single instance. It's a small sample set, so we don't know.
No, my hypothesis needs some work.
Wetherill hits them both. An unofficial 10 for him, and the lead back out to 10. It was recently 5. Adamson, the recipient of the inbound pass. Knights have struggled offensively at times. They cannot get in another slump at this point.
Again, if the Knights are going to recognize these switches on the screens, anytime a guard switches onto David Beatty, he should roll straight to the post, have a guard reverse dribble, and try to get him the ball.
Tyler Famai called for that foul. That is the second.
5 seconds.
The second 5-second call. Second 5-second call against the Knights tonight. And now the Knights continue to apply some pressure. The captain's able to get out across the timeline. Seeming content to slow down a little bit. But then pushing inside, the Knights have really had a difficult time defending in the paint. Daly now with 11, and the lead is at 12. Thornton, Walker, who's just mauled.
And it might be time for Coach Caputo to get a timeout here.
And he's calling for it. The lead has gone from 5 to 14 very quickly. And that's under 14 minutes. I believe they'll make that the media timeout.
I believe so.
I'm not sure how all these media timeout things work, but there's a timeout nonetheless. So, again, the lead has gone from 5 to 14 very, very quickly. The Knights perhaps reeling just a little bit.
Yeah, and things fell apart really fast for the Knights. They worked so hard to get it back to 5 points. Looked like they had the momentum on their side. And then just a few ill-advised shots happened. The captains were able to run out and get some great looks on the inside. And that's just the type of team they are. That's why they're ranked in the top 20 this season so far, and they're the #1 team in the Capital Athletic Conference.
Yeah, it's once they get inside, they are so difficult to stop, and it's so easy for them to get it there when they're out in transition. It seems like when they set up their offense, they're willing to burn a lot of clock, knowing that in the last 10 seconds they'll find a way to get it inside, and when that happens, it's almost unstoppable.
Yeah, they're very patient, very disciplined. They don't get in a rush. They understand the shot clock and what time they really have to try to start to attack, and we've seen them make shots with 1 or 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and they still don't look like they're in any kind of duress.
We'll see if the Knights are able to turn around that timeout, hopefully able to slow things down and make this a time of transition where they can start getting that momentum back, start putting some points on the board. Again, it has just been a very long stretch where the Knights have not been able to keep pace, dropping 9 straight. Beatty to inbound, now on the court for the Knights. Beatty, Adamson, Walker, Thornton, and Jacobson.
And so now, again, the Knights have a long hill to start to climb. A lot of energy they expended to get it to within 5. Now they're going to expend even more energy. And if you're the team that's ahead, like the captains are, you like to see teams start to expend energy, because in the last 5 minutes, they run out.
And a lot of scrapping for that one. Good call on that one. Marcus Carter called for the foul, reaching in, really fighting for position there with Jacobson. I guess you're not allowed to do that by grabbing a handful of jersey.
Well, and I'm sure he didn't mean to, but
sure. Walker.
Sometimes those are just involuntary responses.
Sure. Beatty loses the basketball, almost snaps it through his legs. And a technical.
It's going to be an intentional foul there. And now a technical.
Okay, so we're going to take a second and get all this sorted out. Going to talk it over, see what we've got here.
And when you're down by 14, you cannot afford to have those free points coming off of the board for you. So it looks like there's going to be an intentional foul on David Beatty.
Intentional on Beatty, technical on 33, I think. Flagrant 1 will be assessed against Beatty. So Beatty just picked up 2 fouls, a flagrant and a technical.
So that'll be 4 on Beatty now.
He just went from 2 to 4 very quickly.
So this is again, you cannot lose your composure once things start to go south. Again, trying to listen into the referees to see what the explanation was.
So the intentional foul, the explanation is the intentional foul happened first on Beatty, and then Beatty and Wetherill from Christopher Newport got tied up in it, and a mutual foul call there, a double technical, which will, interestingly enough, put Wetherill at the line.
Hits the first. And the second. So that's for the intentional foul.
And then I assume the techs are going to be offset.
They'll offset each other, and it'll be point of interruption here where the
substitution there, because Beatty will go to the bench with 4 fouls. How do you not?
And the captains go back to having possession. Now I think the referees are talking about should the shot clock reset? And yes, because the first foul was an intentional foul and not a technical foul.
That'll bring Jace Edmonds in for the Knights. And the air just came out of this building on that as well. Rather than Nate Adamson called for the foul, his first. So that's 3 fouls on the Knights in the last 30 seconds. I'm no mathematician, but that's a dangerous pace, I believe.
Very dangerous. And this is the things that the Knights have to learn to play through. If they want to take that next step and be a contender in the Capital Athletic Conference, they have to be able to play through these things and not let it affect them like we've seen in this last 7 minutes.
Yeah, it definitely has. You're right. And that's at home. Cale Thornton called for an offensive foul. All of a sudden, he's got 4. I just feel so bad for Cale Thornton. 19-point lead.
Big men are told they have to go set screens. They have to be really disciplined in the way they set the screen, especially now with all the referees looking for that illegal screen call.
Traveling violation that time.
Hey, and that's our first one tonight.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We've seen everything else, though, except the 3-second call in the lane.
That's true. That's true.
Flagrant foul. We've seen technical fouls.
Double dribble. Don't know if you've seen double. In the women's game, there was. And a carry. Cleaning out the rule book. Walker finds Edmonds. Finds Adamson. Finds Langford. Finds Jacobson. Now everyone's touched the ball. Which means now we're allowed to shoot. Jacobson pulls up and hits.
Well, that's the type of ball movement that you'd like to see the Knights perform every time down the floor.
Oh, that one just about airmailed into the Knights bench. And end-to-end and then pulled out by Brown. And a wide open cutter in the lane that time. Daly, just too easy.
Yep, and the longer the Knights play this zone, it seems like the captains have figured it out and they're finding open spots with much more ease.
Jump stop and a traveling violation this time on Edmonds. Adamson, excuse me. And a timeout taken by Coach Caputo. Wants to talk it over.
And this game is not slowly, but very quickly slipping away from the Knights.
Yeah, it was, I believe the lead was 5 when the Knights had 40.
Yes.
And so a 21-2 run, if I'm not mistaken. No, excuse me, a 16-2 run by Christopher Newport. That is so disheartening, so tough to answer.
Well, and again, they expended so much energy coming back to get within 10 and then get within 5, and you just kind of wonder, do they have the energy left? The mind's willing, but the body's weak, right? That's the old saying. And when you expend all that energy, your mind is saying go, go, go. And we see the Knights out there giving everything they got, but they're starting to lose a little bit of a half a step here. And that's very telling on you when you have to try to come back from such a big deficit.
Yeah, they say mind over matter, too. Yes. That only goes so far. We'll see if it can will the Knights back from a 19-point deficit here in this one. But the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Yes.
And I think in this case, it can begin with a single stop or a single point. The Knights have got to start crawling back in and they cannot do it all at once, but they've got to start putting something together, and it's the trend has to start shifting.
Like you said, the stops have to come first, but you have to follow up those stops by putting something else on the board. So it's both phases of the game now. The Knights have to excel if they want to try to come back.
Knights have gone back to a man defense.
Oh, and a nice little flex cut there.
That's Rajimbo. Adamson finds Jacobson.
And another illegal screen.
There have been a lot of illegal screens called in this game, Mike. All right, let me rephrase. There have been a lot of offensive fouls called in this game.
And we've seen over the course of the year that those illegal screens are being called with more regularity because the referees have been told you have to call this.
Travel. It hasn't been that long ago that you said that was the first one we've seen, and it's
they've come fast and furious after that, haven't they?
Contagious. And now with almost 11 minutes left, David Beatty's going to come back on the floor with 4 fouls.
Well, and you have to bring him back in. If you keep him on the bench any longer and the lead grows over 21 now, then your chances of coming back becomes smaller and smaller.
Well, and he came in for Langford, who also has 4. Cale Thornton also has 4. That's Rajimbo. He just picked up his 4. So the fouls, not a few, but relatively consolidated on just a few people on both sides.
Well, we've had more fouls now in the second half within 10 minutes than we almost had in the whole first half.
1-1. And no good. Great
nice
defense. And off to the races is Walker. And no foul call, but it will stay on the side of the Knights.
Well, that's where if you're Tevin Walker, you want to try to use your body. Get the ball over on the right-hand side. As you go up, make sure your left shoulder goes into the body of the captain defender and cause the contact. Don't let them hang the ball out so they can get a strip on it.
So I worry about that. That's Wetherill, who just got put back in the game right after Beatty came back in the game. The two guys that got technicals now put back in, ostensibly guarding each other. Not at the moment, but... And he might not be in very long. That's Wetherill's 4th. So 4 on Wetherill, 4 on Rajimbo, 3 on Carter. No one with more than 2 besides those for the captains. Meanwhile, Beatty with 4, Langford with 4, Thornton with 4, no one more with more than 2 for the Knights.
Well, and now these last 10 minutes of the game, we could see a parade to the free throw line. This will be a war of attrition. Who can hit their free throws? If the captains can, they can pull the lead out further. If the Knights can, then they can bring it back to them. And a foul on David Beatty.
So he's done. And I don't like the applause from Wetherill for that on the court.
Well, players go in with a plan. One of the plans was to get David Beatty out.
Oh, that's what
at least when he came back in.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't like this matchup. Wetherill going back in. There's no coincidence he went back in on the next horn after Beatty came in. There's no way. Wetherill only 1 foul behind him from being on the bench. Makes the front end of the 1-and-1. And also no coincidence that now that Beatty's fouled out, Wetherill is going to head back to the bench as he's got Famai at the table for him. So he has done his job to get David Beatty fouled out. Call that gamesmanship, don't they? Walker off to the races. And pushes, doesn't matter. Thornton able to finish. You know you're pushing the guy pretty hard when you push him so hard that you lose your own footing.
Yes.
That's something. Lead under 20, but it is not nearly as close as it needs to be. Edmonds steps out to defend. Drive to the basket that time by Famai.
Yeah, just a blow by there with nobody on the backside to help out.
Thornton banging bodies, hard off the board. Walker comes up with the steal. And that's going to be a foul call. Brendan Burrows called for the foul, pushing him down. And that's going to bring a substitution. Spencer Marine, it'll be his first entrance into the game for the captains. Kevin Walker just plain hustles. 2-on-1 comes up with the steal. Whew. Makes the first. 16 points, helped out by Anders Jacobson's 10 and Beatty's 9. Beatty no longer an option. Thornton with 7. Langford with 4. But that and McGuigan with 2, and that's it as far as the night scoring. Walker again scraps for it. And bodies hitting the deck. And that's going to go on Jace Edmonds. Now his third. A little scary when the referee signals 5 and you're like, oh, please don't say 55. Please don't say 55. Don't get me wrong, we need Edmonds too. But one more and Thornton's out. And with Beatty gone, we are already a little thin as we look at post players. Marcus Carter converts.
And the Knights can go back and watch this game film and pick out certain points where things started to go the wrong way and work on fixing those for the upcoming games.
They can also look at some points and say, we were against very difficult competition and did very well. Yes. There are certainly some stretches where they can take some confidence from that.
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, for the most part, the Knights have done a fantastic job. And we don't want to take anything away from the captains. They are a great team, but there's some points that the Knights have really just beat themselves.
True, very true. And out of bounds, it will stay with the Knights. Walker fighting for every loose ball, every time, always.
And he'll keep doing that until he gets 5 fouls.
Yeah. And that's going to be a technical foul.
It's going to be on assistant coach Craig Winslow. So the captains will go down and shoot the technical. The Knights will come back and get the ball in bounds. So and there's water all over the court. Someone flipped Kevin Walker to the water bottle. It happened to open up. Looked like it was raining outside.
So that call on Coach Winslow, his second, not tonight, but got a one in the previous match here at home. That appeared to be a tipping point as well. Perhaps coincidence, perhaps not, but it was the technical fouls from there that brought the opposing team back in on the last one. Don't need to worry about that this time. Great shot on the inbounds play. Adamson, his first points of the game, and they can use them.
Again, the Knights going to have to be very efficient on the offensive end. Defensively, they just keep on scrapping like they have the whole night. But offensively, they're going to have to be more efficient than we've seen.
Speaking of scrapping, Walker again just causing fits to whoever he's guarding. That time, Jacobson comes up with the rebound. Do not have numbers. Coach Krikorian calling for a technical foul. I assume he's saying Jacobson sold the bump a little bit.
Yeah.
He's off balance.
Now the
conversation.
coaches are going back and forth now. Meanwhile, Kevin Walker misses the free throw, which doesn't do the Knights cause any good.
Famai picks up his third foul. Walker makes the second. 17. He's having a great night, but could use a hand, and is really not getting one right now.
Well, when the Knights have had great nights here in the barn, they've had at least 4 people in double figures. Tonight, they're going to be struggling to get that.
The foul after the result of the play, yet again. We've talked about it. Cale Thornton catches 5, so he's done. That'll bring Langford in.
And Justin's 1 foul away from having an early night.
The good news is after that, we've only got Edmonds with 3. Jacobson with 2, Adamson and Walker with 1 apiece. So,
and still 8 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah.
So the flow of the game has come to a grinding halt as both teams are in the double bonus.
Marine makes that one. And will earn a trip to the bench, which will bring Wetherill back to the court with 4. Jacobson looking to drive. Can't find an opening. Adamson now. Up top to Walker. Good pass through.
Should be a jump ball someplace.
And we'll see what's happening here. Jump ball, yes?
Yes.
8 seconds to shoot for the Knights. And Walker to inbound. Does so immediately, and the quick shot from the corner, no good, and that's going to be a foul. That's going to be 5 on him. You know, I love that I have enough of a rapport that the referees look at me as a commentator. I show 5 and they're like, oh, that's 5 on him. I guess I can do that as long as I'm not wrong. I guess the first time I'm wrong and they correct that from the official book, I'll stop getting that privilege. But Edmonds hits that, just his first point of the game, unless I'm mistaken.
I concur with you on that.
That makes me a lot more confident. Short arms the second, but it drops. The lead is at 20. Famai playing a 2-man game with Rajimbo. And the steal coming back the other way. Edmonds loses it for the moment. And great hustle play by Rajimbo to corral it.
Again, those hustle plays have to turn into points for the Knights.
They have to. Good defense, and the ball gets stuck. Now we've seen everything. Talking about seeing a variety of calls. There's one we don't see too often either, the stuck ball. That'll bring Aaron McFarland in for Christopher Newport, and that does count as a jump ball.
And a reset on the shot clock. So we've seen just about everything tonight.
We have indeed. Captain's reset. Looking at giving off and then taking it himself finally is Daly. The Knights come away with the rebound. Adamson realizes he doesn't have numbers, slows it down. Edmonds, Jacobson, Walker. Adamson, Jacobson, Walker. 8 to shoot. Makes it! High arcing 3 from well behind the line. And Walker's got 20.
And he's doing everything he can to give a lift to the Knights.
Besides him, again, unofficially, Jacobson with 10, Beatty with 9, who is fouled out, Thornton with 6, who is fouled out. Langford fighting for that rebound. Can't quite get it.
And if you're going to pull off upsets, you're going to have 4 people in double figures.
This one the rebound. The long look ahead to Walker. The acrobatic finish, and will draw the foul. And just about convert the basket as well. Aaron McFarland, just his first. He's got 8 points, so he's been on the floor, but I guess just keeping his head down, staying to himself. Can't fault him for that.
Not wanting to be noticed too much.
Well, the referees have certainly done a lot of noticing this evening. Walker now with 21. And that's Coach Krikorian calling a timeout. Wants to talk things over. The lead has kind of subtly crept down to 16, which is more manageable than it's been. I think 24 was as large as it's been. So 16 at 5:43 can't be too upset about.
Well, you're looking at how we're going to finish out this game now for both teams. If you're the captains, you're upset because, hey, we've had a 24-point lead, and now it's down to 16. And if we keep going at this rate, it's going to be down to 2 or 3 in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and anything can happen when you're away from home. If you're the Knights, you're looking at, okay, guys, we just got to keep making sure that we execute offensively, and when they take a shot, box out, grab the rebound. You're not trying to find the 4 or 5 or 8-point shots, right? You're just looking to be effective offensively.
Well, and to your point, the captains can't be happy if this lead keeps cutting down, even if they win, because there are games they play later this season, perhaps, where if they develop bad habits,
yes,
it may come back to bite them. Speaking of which, the Knights in their last game we mentioned, had I think it was an 18, 19-point lead in the second half, and then won on a last-second shot. So it's that kind of thing where you're coaching for this game, but you also don't want to take your foot off the gas because you're coaching for the next game and the rest of the season. That's
right. You never want your team to let down and like you said, develop bad habits going into the next game.
No good. Edmonds with the rebound. And that's going to be Marcus Carter called for that, his 4th. And this has gotten interesting all of a sudden. The Knights back to the free throw line.
Yeah, again, poor execution of fundamentals on a box out on free throws.
Rajimble and Carter with 4 apiece. Meanwhile, Langford, the only one remaining with 4 for the Knights. It only helps if you make the free throws. And that one goes down for Edmonds. Lead down to 15. Able to get it across the timeline. Working through
nice
the possession.
hands.
Walker gets out in front of it again. Fights, tosses in. And able to dump it off to a cutting Adamson. Kevin Walker is ridiculous. And an offensive foul. Aaron McFarland called for it, his second. The lead is 13. It's the Knights basketball. And what a turn of events.
Well, on defense, you always see Kevin Walker never slapping down at the ball, always digging up at the ball, which is very hard to foul somebody when you're coming from underneath the ball.
Wow. The Knights with a 3 could put it down to 10, which seemed unfathomable just a few minutes ago as they were down 24, but fighting and fighting. Jacobson drives, pops, no good, own rebound, fights through.
And walked. Looked like he changed pivot feet.
That's a thing, right? You can do that. No?
I wish. It would have made a lot of my players a whole lot better.
Okay, Christopher Newport with the basketball now, under 5 minutes, the lead down to 13. The Knights are not out of this one yet. They've had some very close games here at home, including an overtime and a double overtime. And the Knights all over them.
And if it's on Langford, Edmonds.
Edmonds now with 4. So let's review again. Beatty is done. Thornton is done. For the captains, Wetherill is done. For the Knights, Edmonds with 4, Langford with 4. For the captains, Marcus Carter with 4, and Kevin Rajimble with 4. So we'll send Daly to the line. He's got 13. Taking quite a while getting ready for it. Overthought it perhaps a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes you can take too long at the line trying to get calm and sit. Well, now we're going to see an interesting contrast of styles. The captains are going to try to take the air out of the ball, execute, run a lot of offense, and attack the basket after 10 seconds. The Knights obviously trying to do just the opposite, score very quickly.
Missed them both, and that's going to be another foul.
And that's Rajimble.
That's going to be Rajimble. He's done. He is done, Mike. And Rajimble having a conversation with the referee about it. And the referee saying, that's nice. Yeah. Go take a seat, sir.
And the crowd is exhorting him on to take a seat.
Just being helpful, making sure he knows which foot goes next. Jacobson at the line. Makes it. Jacobson with 11. I've talked about his ability to shoot free throws, and he has done well this evening, and the Knights have needed every last one of them. 61-72, the Knights now down 11 in a game that has been as close as 5 in this half.
Yes.
And as great as 24.
It's never a dull moment in the barn.
It's not.
With this year's
it's not.
men's team.
It's not.
Always are making things interesting.
It doesn't matter how bad it looks. It could work out, and it doesn't matter how good it looks, it can be thrown away.
Well, here's the key. If they can get the score to within 6 by the 3-minute mark, which is a minute and a half, and totally doable, then the Knights don't have to change anything going into that last 3 minutes. And now the captains start to scramble. They start to think, oh my gosh, we've had this huge lead. Look what's happened to it now. And maybe they go into a little bit of a freeze mode, and the Knights can steal the win, beat a ranked opponent. That would be a great feather in their cap.
Oh, it would be massive.
We may even have a storming of the court.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. And I'm not supposed to say that. I'm over facilities. I'm supposed to take care of this court. I would completely sanction that. So, and as we look at players that have left, Wetherill is fouled out. He's the leading scorer for the captains with 14. Rajimble's fouled out with only 6. From the other side, Beatty fouled out with 9. Thornton with 6. Obviously, there's a lot more ways to contribute to a team than scoring, but if you're just looking at that stat line, it favors the Knights just a little bit as far as who they still have accessible as opposed to who Christopher Newport has accessible.
And again, we're going to see the captains spread the floor and try to work it within 10 seconds of the shot clock.
They will kick out. Down to 8. Trying to get a shot now, 2 seconds. Probably not who you want shooting the 3, and it goes awry. Tipped out, and the reset for the captains.
That's what you cannot do if you're the Knights. You cannot not finish the defensive possession.
Wonderful defense for so long, and then give up basically a whole other 30 seconds off the clock. That's essentially what you've given up. And then the pull up on the baseline. Oh! Walker goes down hard. That's got to knock the air out of a guy. That's Tim Daly call for the foul, his third. And Kevin Walker just fighting. There are Coach Caputo, you all right? Waves him off.
I got time to be hurt after this game.
There are some people who, when put in a position, will fight for the basketball. And then there's Kevin Walker, who will fight for every ball on every possession forever and always through the end of eternity.
And no matter how many fouls he has on him.
And then gets up and makes it. I can picture him like at a middle school girls basketball game and a ball hits the deck and he's diving out of the stands to go for it.
You know, this is kind of unusual for Kevin, only having one foul.
Yeah.
Going into the last 3 minutes of the game.
And gets up from that hard hitting the deck, makes them both. Folks, the lead is 9. It is back down to single digits as we go under 4 minutes to play.
Yeah, potentially just a 3-possession game.
Not the way the Knights have been shooting threes, unfortunately, but hard finish off the glass that time by Carter.
Yeah, great backdoor cut. The Knights again started watching the ball instead of seeing where the player was.
So how do the Knights respond? Adamson for Walker, trying to free him up. Oh, and Langford got a hand on it, but just could not collect it. That one hurts.
That does, and now if the captains go down and score, it almost becomes desperation mode for the Knights.
Walker that time kind of forced it up a little bit.
Yeah, trying to create a foul.
"15 seconds to shoot." They'll shoot early in the shot clock, all things considered. Jacobson comes down with it, and it's going the other way. Jacobson drives.
Oh, and they're going to call an offensive foul.
Jacobson picks up a third. I believe at least 2 of them have been offensive. It might be all 3. And you can tell he's frustrated with it.
And I'd be very surprised now if the captains, again, don't take the shot clock down under 10. If they take a quick shot, look for the coach of the captains to call a quick timeout to remind them, guys, time and score. The Knights, beneficiaries of quick shots.
And that open to the rim, but misses the easy layup.
Again, beneficiaries of a quick shot.
And that's Tim Daly now. He's got 4. You know, Mike, we talked a while ago about a couple of people with, or 3 people with 4 fouls, and it's, well, no one else is anywhere close. So that's pretty much what we're looking at. Well, it's been a little bit more than that. We've got 4 guys done already, and 4 more, 2 on each team with 4 apiece.
Yeah, those numbers just keep climbing.
Jace Edmonds at the free throw line. Got it. Boy, Jace Edmonds has 4 fouls, 4 points. It's 64-74 with 2:24, and that's the 4th foul at number 44.
And again, Jace Edmonds has had the struggles tonight at the free throw line, and it doesn't help the Knights at all.
Good deflection that time by Jacobson. And Langford able to come away with that.
And another quick shot again by the captains.
Knights down 10 with 2 minutes left. They're going to have to create some offense quickly, but they've got to get a good shot. They look to Walker. He's had the hot hand all night long. He gives back to Langford. Just where they need it. The lead is down to 8. This game is not over.
The captains are keeping the Knights in the game.
Really have not been waiting. That one, can't argue too much with that shot. Open underneath for Carter. The lead is 10, 90 seconds to play. The Knights have had some really strong phases of this game and some really weak ones. They're finishing strong, but is it enough to overcome some of the struggles? Got to move fast. Edmonds kicks out. Jacobson. Yes! Jacobson buries a 3, The lead is 7 with 1:07 full timeout taken. And Jacobson now with 15 points to go along with Kevin Walker's 23. But after that, nobody with more than 9.
Now you're going to see the Knights coming out. They're going to have to go for the steals. If they don't get the steal on the inbounds pass, you're going to have to foul. You cannot afford to just play defense now and hope that the captains miss. It gets you down to under 45 seconds. And again, being down by 7, 45 seconds, not enough time to really do anything good.
Well, that's Holland and McGuigan checking in to your point. Holland, no fouls. McGuigan, no fouls. They've got a little bit to give at this point.
Kevin Walker, only 1 foul.
Sure.
Kevin, go get the ball.
Yeah. Because heaven knows he can create turnovers without fouling. That's definitely an ideal situation if you can get it. You don't want Langford fighting for it with 4. You don't want Edmonds fighting for it with 4. You'd rather not Jacobson fight for it with 3, especially as he's become a more offensive weapon for you.
Well, again, go for the steal. If you don't get the steal, you have to foul immediately. You cannot let the ball get across half court or let them even use half of the 10 seconds to get it across half court.
Yeah, you need too many possessions. It's mathematic when it comes to that. You just cannot allow it.
And so now the quote-unquote foul team comes in for the Knights, and the captains bring in their foul shooters.
And threw it along the baseline there. That was interesting.
Well, after a made shot, you can do that.
Sure, it's just not something you see terribly often.
Not something you see too terribly often, but nice that the captains were able to use it. The great thing about it was, though, only 3 seconds went off the shot clock.
Yep. That foul on Adamson, his second. And the free throw rattles out for Brown. And now Langford and Edmonds back in, essentially an offense for defense switch.
And McGuigan and Holland did their job. Go in there. If it comes to your man, foul him.
You got to get the rebound.
Got to get the rebound. So boxing out here is paramount.
It goes in for Brown. He's got 11. In the hands of Adamson. The lead is 8. Being hounded to Jacobson. Drives. Elevates. No good. And comes down to foul. That's going to be Adamson again. He's now got 3. So I think it's worth pointing out it is currently 9:50 here on the East Coast. This has been a 2-hour and 20-minute game made out of 40 minutes of game time. A lot of stoppage.
Well, when we got to the double bonus, both teams with more than 10 minutes to go in the second half, we talked about, this is going to be a free throw shooting game. The flow is going to get cut down, and these last 10 minutes has to be at least 25 minutes long.
No doubt. Well, and the fouls have not slowed down since the double bonus arrived either. And got the friendly roll on that one. Brown's able to convert. Now the lead back to 10 under a minute. Really got to go fast, but you got to get a good shot. Adamson out to Langford. No. Oh. And that one going to go against Edmonds, and he's done. It's going to be his 5th foul. And that's going to bring in Jordan McGuigan. And a valiant effort by the Knights coming storming back, but the damage, unfortunately, was already done.
Got too far behind, spent too much energy, and then the clock just runs out on you. And for the captains, the clock can't run fast enough. They just want to get out of here with the win.
Yeah, certainly if this were the second of 3 periods like hockey, it'd be very interesting to see who came away with it, especially considering who would play in it. based on the foul situation for both teams. But not the case. 30 seconds to play. The Knights down by 11. Adamson brings it up on what will be one of the last times, but is able to convert. That'll be 6 for him now. Taking the full timeout. Coach Caputo fighting to the end.
Well, again, now it becomes just academic. If the Knights don't foul, it's over. So they have to foul automatically as soon as it comes in.
Oh, absolutely.
The captains, on the other hand, they just have to hit the free throws. So now they're trying to drop a play to get the ball into their best free throw shooters' hands. They know the Knights are going to come after them. The Knights can only hope not enough time goes off the clock before we foul and some misses on the free throws. Then when they get the ball to come down offensively, they cannot take a lot of time to set
something up, right?
It's going to have to be a drive and a kick because you're down by 9. Twos are not going to help you right now. You're going to have to get some threes to start to scare the captains.
Well, and the threes have certainly fallen better in the second half. We don't have that statistic in front of us. What we do have is at halftime, Knights were 0 for 5 from 3. They've had some nights where they've really shot very well from the three-point line. While they've gotten better as the game has worn on, this is not one of them.
Yeah, and again, you can't live or die by the three if you're the Knights. Their best game is getting the ball into the lane via the drive or a post-up. And that's where the Knights really struggled in the first half to let the lead balloon on them one time up to at least 11 points. If they would have maybe executed a little bit better in the first half, not gone in down by 10, then the second half we wouldn't have to expend as much energy to try to erase that lead.
25.4.
There's got to be a foul. There's got to be a foul.
And that time,
I don't
Holland
know.
and McGuigan fighting for it.
Don't know what Holland was doing, waiting so long.
Yeah, got to go.
As soon as he touched the ball, there should have been a foul. Maybe he only let about 5/10 or 7/10 of a second come off the clock.
That will be his first foul. Goodness, I hope he doesn't get to 5 by the time this thing is over. But I expressed earlier, I thought we had some guys that were out of the woods that certainly ended up not being so. Famai hits the first free throw. Langford in. Again, offense for defense. The lead at 10. Makes the second. The Knights pushing as they need to. Got to get a shot. No good. Rebound. Fighting for it, and it's staying this way. Walker. Every ball on every possession forever.
And you got to love Kevin Walker if you play with him. He's got to be one of the most biggest thorns in your side if you play against him.
Oh, yeah.
He never quits.
Jacobson gets it. And another timeout taken by Coach Caputo. The lead down to 9.
Well, Coach Caputo knows that there's no way that they're going to hit a shot to win this game. What he's doing right now is coaching for instances where they're closer. You're 6.7. Either you're down by 1. What can we do here? And he's trying to let his guys know, hey, listen, I'm still coaching you right now.
So you should
I
still
haven't
be
given
playing.
up. We've got to keep playing. We know that with Kevin Walker and with Anders Jacobson out there, that there is no quit in those two, and they demand that from their teammates too. So the Knights are always in the game. It's just they got down too far in that second half. They had to expend too much energy, and unfortunately the clock just got away from them.
Yeah, what a valuable opportunity for a coach, though. As you said, 6.7 seconds left. You can't recreate this situation in practice. So it's an opportunity to teach something that you can't normally. And let's see what you can do with it. And he's called off the Dogs. Makes it an interesting timeout call then.
Well, looking to maybe get the steal, and it comes in. 6.7 seconds, you don't want a foul. There's no reason for it. But, you know, let's see if we can go for the steal. If we can work the steal out here, then great. Here we go. Also, you're probably telling them if they do get it in, no fouls, guys. Hold your heads up as we go through. Played a great game. Knights have 8 games left in the Capital Conference. We told you that, or we talked earlier, that you get to 8 wins. Historically, you're in, so they got 8 games to get 3 wins. I think they can pull it off.
Well, certainly some difficult competition ahead, but probably no bigger test than they were up against with Christopher Newport tonight. And so a 9-point dropping of a game there, that's on the one hand, it's disappointing, but on the other, it's got to give you some confidence about what you've got going forward.
Yeah, you got to have a lot of confidence if you're the players, but you also have to look back and know if we could have done this one thing at this point, or if we would have just been a little bit more disciplined at this point, what could have been? You know, so that's disappointing right now, and they're all, you know, as we saw them walk off, they're all kind of hanging their heads and knowing that, but they have to look back and say, we can clean these things up. We did not play our best game tonight. Those are still left in front of us, and when we do play our best game, watch out.
Yeah, if their best is still in front of them, that'll be something to see for sure. Speaking of upcoming games, just as an announcement, make sure you're aware the game against Wesley that was supposed to be last Saturday, rescheduled because of snow, will be this coming Monday here at home. 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock, I believe, on game times.
I believe you're right.
So we will be broadcasting both of those 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock this coming Monday. Make sure you stick around for those broadcasts. For Mike Harmon and the rest of the broadcast team, I'm Art Furler. Thanks for watching. Your final score, the Southern Virginia Knights drop 73-82 against the Christopher Newport Captains. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night, everybody.